The B-52, a colossal war machine nearly as long as a 15-story building laid on its side, its wingspan as wide as a football field, capable of carrying up to 30 tons of bombs. When it appeared in the sky, it was as if daylight vanished. Its massive shadow darkened the ground, and the roar of its engines rumbled like thunder, shaking the earth below. Its presence alone was enough to make entire cities hold their breath, knowing that a storm of fire could fall from the sky at any moment.
These giants down.
Throughout the Cold War, it was seen as the untouchable symbol of U.S. air power, a weapon meant to intimidate the entire world. And yet, in all of history, only one nation forced the B-52 to kneel, shooting it down with ground-based weapons. That nation was Vietnam. So why was Vietnam the only country to achieve what seemed impossible? This was not just a victory of weapons, but a triumph of intelligence, patience, and willpower. It is a story that shook the world, proving that even the mightiest giants can fall. The B-52 was not just a bomber, it was a true flying fortress. Cruising at nearly 1,000 kilometers per hour, at altitudes of 10 to 12 kilometers, beyond the reach of most missiles of its time. It could carry tens of tons of bombs, capable of turning a city into a sea of fire in minutes. Throughout the Vietnam War, the B-52 loomed like a ghost in the sky, raining terror upon every village below. Its electronic countermeasures made it almost invisible to older radar systems. It flew with fighter escorts and under a protective shield of electronic jamming.
Get me a direct line to the president now.
To many military experts of the time, the B-52 was seen as an invincible flying fortress, a colossal beast of steel capable of delivering destruction from a safe distance. Its bombing campaigns in Korea and later in Vietnam had already proven its ability to turn entire regions into rubble overnight. With a range of over 14,000 kilometers, it could take off from as far away as Guam or Thailand, complete its bombing run, and return safely, leaving its opponents almost no chance to strike back. The U.S. Air Force believed no nation can touch the B-52, and that belief would be shattered over the skies of Hanoi. In the 1960s and 1970s, North Vietnam faced the most terrifying weapon in America's arsenal. Each B-52 raid was like a storm of steel raining down on Hanoi and Haiphong, shaking the very ground. The thunderous roar of the engines mixed with the flashes of bombs and fire, plunging the city into a vision of hell on earth. With such destructive power, many believed that no air defense system in the world could withstand these massive flying fortresses. The enemy was immense. Vietnam's SA-2 missiles were originally designed to hit medium-altitude aircraft, not a flying giant at the edge of the stratosphere. Yet Vietnam made a decision. They had to find a way to bring down a B-52, even just one. Shooting down a B-52 would not just be a military victory, it would be a psychological victory, a message to the world. We will not bow down. Vietnamese engineers and officers studied every piece of B-52 wreckage, recording every flight characteristic. They discovered the bomber's flight patterns, the timing of their jamming signals. Radars were fine-tuned, and operators learned to filter jamming with their eyes, staring at faint blips on green screens to tell real bombers from decoys. Firing tactics were rewritten. 2 missiles launched in quick succession, timed to detonate right under the belly of the B-52, where fuel and bombs were stored. Not only that, the air defense crews also used ambush firing tactics, waiting until the B-52 formations came close, then unleashing sudden volleys of missiles so the enemy had no time to react. Missile units constantly shifted positions, camouflaging themselves among villages and forests, making it nearly impossible for American aircraft to pinpoint their exact locations. Through a combination of creative strategy, sheer courage, and calculations precise to the very second, the SA-2 missiles tore through the B-52's steel shield, turning the impossible into reality. Each missile launch was a mental duel. The enemy flooded the sky with chaff and false signals. The operators waited for the perfect moment and then pressed the firing button. In December 1972, the U.S. launched Operation Linebacker 2, sending over 700 B-52 sorties, dropping more than 20,000 tons of bombs on North Vietnam, the equivalent of a small nuclear blast. Determined to bomb North Vietnam back to the Stone Age, American aircraft roamed the skies day and night, dropping explosives wherever they went. Every village, alley, and forest was treated as if it were a Viet Minh stronghold. Wave after wave of bombs fell like a rain of fire, turning vast areas into seas of smoke and ash. Their ferocious blasts shook the very earth, wiping out fields, forests, and villages in an instant. With the doctrine of better to destroy by mistake than to miss, the skies thundered with bombers, while on the ground, infantry and artillery pressed the hunt without rest, supporting each other around the clock. But this time, Hanoi was ready. Sirens wailed. The entire city braced for 12 days and nights of battle. Against the thunderous storm unleashed by the flying fortresses, Hanoi stood firm, with iron will and the unyielding perseverance of a people who refused to back down. SAM missiles streaked skyward, tearing through the darkness. B-52s exploded, burning like miniature suns over Hanoi. The image of a flying fortress falling in flames stunned the world. In just 12 days, Vietnamese air defenses shot down 34 B-52s, 5 F-111Es, and dozens of fighter jets. 81 American pilots were captured, many parachuting into skies still glowing with fire. The losses shocked the U.S. Air Force. This was the highest loss rate of B-52s in their entire operational history. For the first time, the untouchable symbol of U.S. air power had been brought down. The myth of total air superiority was gone forever. This victory was more than shooting down 34 aircraft. It was a declaration to the world that willpower could break even a flying fortress of steel. It forced the United States to sit down at the Paris peace talks and sign an agreement to end the war, opening the road to peace for an entire nation. For the first time in world military history, a small country defeated the most advanced weapon of the #1 superpower. The image of B-52s burning in the night sky became not just a military success, but a symbol of defiance, proof that no force could conquer a people determined to defend their own skies. Why was Vietnam the only nation to shoot down the B-52? Because this was not just a battle of weapons, it was a battle of intellect, courage, and unbreakable will. The story is a reminder, no fortress is truly impregnable, no challenge truly impossible to overcome. And each time we look at the silent wreckage of the B-52 in the museum, we see an entire era of fire and steel, and the spirit of a nation that made the world stand in awe.